Guess what, folks? Progressives are alive and well. They're not basically saying, hey, we're not against you. You just have to do what we want you to do, and we're going to be there for you. Senator Lincoln, I don't think she gets it. Blanche Lincoln has been against what's in the best interest of the working folk of America. She's been a real stick in the mud when it comes to health care reform. She's really hasn't been anywhere near the Democratic platform. So this is what happens. In a matter of hours, her challenger, Bill Halter, Lieutenant Governor of Arkansas, he raises how much? $1 million. No candidate in recent history has been off to this kind of a start. This is the fastest start by any candidate since the November election. There is a passion for change in this country, and you know who's doing it? It's the liberals. The liberals in this country are determined to get change that we can believe in. No Tea Party candidate has ever come up with this kind of overnight success when it comes to the money. The right-wing network across the street, they can't get enough of the disgruntled malcontents out there doing the signs of hate and everything else when it comes to the Tea Partiers. But when middle-class Americans and the AFL-CIO put $3 million on the table right away, their silence over there is deafening. Oh, I just love the left. We know how to make it happen. What is happening in Arkansas really is the story. If you really want to know what's going on in this country, that's it. Progressives don't have time to run around like psychos and protest with signs and say, we want to be free. It's, you know, the government. They spend time trying to take care of the kitchen table issues that middle-class Americans are struggling with. That's what this disgruntledness is all about across America. Democrats have underestimated their base. I believe I gave a commentary on this show talking about that. Mr. President, don't leave your base. The base is there, and the base is willing to write checks again. Now, liberal groups and the AFL-CIO have got all this money together because they want to get rid of Blanche Lincoln and any other Democrat that just doesn't get it. It's going to be fun in 2010 as we keep on trucking. Washington's broken because the Democrats haven't done what they were sent there to do. That's it. Now, I don't believe that the Democrats have been really honest with the base. I think that they went out and campaigned on some real popular things that Barack Obama was throwing out there. All of a sudden, he didn't have the votes. But when push came to shove, yeah, they didn't have the votes. They weren't there. So what's happening now? You've got a lieutenant governor in Arkansas, red state America, rattling the halls of power in Washington. Don't you love this story? Tell me what you think in a telephone survey tonight. The number to dial is 1-877-ED-MSNBC. And my question tonight is, do you think Democrats have underestimated the power of the progressive base? Press 1 for yes and press 2 for no, and I'll bring you the results later on in the show. Joining me now is Arkansas Lieutenant Governor Bill Halter, who was challenging Senator Blanche Lincoln in the Democratic primary. Lieutenant Governor, great to have you with us. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks so much, Ed. Great to be with you.
You know, I'm so curious. Only 1% of the workers in Arkansas are associated or members of a union. Where's all this union love coming from the AFL-CIO to get you $3 million? What, are you a beneficiary of people who just don't like Blanche Lincoln, or are you out there doing what you got to do and willing to do what you got to do for the working folk of America? Which is it?
Well, Ed, you know, I've got a history of working with the state AFL-CIO on a very important issue, as you say, a kitchen table issue. The AFL-CIO was the first group out to work with me in establishing a massive scholarship program in Arkansas. The nuts and bolts of it is, if you graduate from an Arkansas high school with a 2.5 grade point average and you wind up going to an Arkansas college next year, you get a $5,000 a year scholarship. And the first group out of the box to help with that was our state AFL-CIO.
Okay, one of the things that Blanche Lincoln has not been a supporter of is the Employee Free Choice Act. Where do you stand on that? Can you say unequivocally tonight here on the Ed Show that you would support the Employee Free Choice Act?
Well, I can tell you this, Ed. I've talked with business leaders and labor leaders. The debate has now moved beyond the initial card check legislation. There's now conversations and discussions going on to strengthen worker protections, to speed up democratic elections for representation. I've spoken with labor leaders about that, and I am supportive of their efforts to do that because I think that it is in the context of the history that we've had for decades of allowing workers to decide how they're going to represent themselves in negotiations.
Okay, so that sounds a heck of a lot warmer than Blanche Lincoln, but carte blanche, you're not ready to support everything in the Employee Free Choice Act, but there are some things that you would go along with.
Okay. You're hearing that right, Ed, and I'll just go one step further. I mean, I've had discussions with labor and business leaders, and they have moved away from the initial card check bill, but they're moving towards something that I think you can fashion a compromise around, and it's something that people of goodwill on both sides of this issue can come together around.
All right. Now, Arkansas is a low-wage state. And, when you say that you would embrace certain provisions of it, what about intimidation in the workplace? Well, what about, are you for collective bargaining? Because Walmart in your state is not, I mean, they have been union busting for a long time. And I think this is a big issue.
It is a big issue, Ed, but I think that yes, I can say to you, I am for the rights of workers to organize themselves in democratic elections without pressure, and I think you can get consensus around that.
Okay.
But let me just push on this a little bit. I mean, the fact is, we can bring people together to push against powerful special interests. We've got a history of doing that here in this state, and I think that that's what's generating the excitement around the country.
All right, the public option, Blanche Lincoln is against that. Do you support that?
Let me give you the answer to that question. I've been asked this all day long today. The public option in Arkansas, if you ask 100 people what the public option means, you're going to get 100 different answers. So let me tell you what I do support. I support the public having the ability to voluntarily buy in to a program like Medicare. That is what I support.
Run.
Yeah, it could be government administered, absolutely.
Okay,
Medicare is government administered.
So you believe in a mechanism put in place that people can choose that would be in direct competition with the private sector?
Yes, and that goes back to my business training, my economics training. You need competition.
Okay.
If you don't have competition, you're just going to have health care insurance rate increases.
So there's two issues that you differentiate yourself from with Blanche Lincoln. Where has Blanche Lincoln gone wrong, in your opinion, Lieutenant Governor?
Well, Ed, I'm going to say this. I'm running for the Senate and not against any particular individual. There are issues that we disagree with one another, I think, profoundly. I'll give you one that's current and is coming up repeatedly. Senator Lincoln has advocated for either the reduction or the complete elimination of the estate tax for those individuals that have $10 million in wealth or more. And in fact, on one particular vote, she suggested that in opposition to providing benefits for middle-class families to help folks afford college.
Is she Wall Street friendly, in your opinion?
Well, I can tell you this. I would not have voted for that Wall Street bailout bill without stricter accountability. I mean, folks in Arkansas are coming to me and saying, look, we put hundreds of billions of dollars of our taxpayer money into bailing out financial institutions.
Okay.
Unemployment's at a 25-year high, Ed, a 25-year high. Then they turn around and what they see is headlines about investment bankers getting tens of billions of dollars of bonuses.
What about
that doesn't square for Arkansas.
What about all this love and money from the progressive organizations almost overnight?
Yeah.
Arkansas, I mean, look at this money. You've raised, they've raised $854,000 for you, MoveOn.org.
Yep.
$61,000 from the PCCC and Democracy for America, and Daily Kos has got and this money is going to keep rolling in.
Right.
I mean, these are pretty tough progressive groups that demand performance. Can you satisfy them politically?
Look, I hope I can satisfy them, Arkansans, and everybody that's going to go out and vote in this election. Look, we have been pushing on powerful special interests already. We will continue to do that.
Yeah.
You've got to give me this opportunity, though, Ed. I've got to say to all those folks that have contributed that I'm profoundly grateful for it. I'm humbled by it. And I'll say one other thing. Contrast these donations where the average donation is $29. The average contribution so far this campaign is $29. Contrast that with other elected officials that are getting their contributions in $2,400 checks, $5,000 PAC checks. Look, something special is going on out there, and I'm humbled by it, and I'm grateful for it.
All right. Are you a good Democrat, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Bill Halter, good to have you with us here on The Ed Show tonight.